Are we live, you guys?
I think we are. I was sending an Instagram story.
I was just typing a story too. I was like, do I say we're on VidCon Live? We're not at VidCon Live.
I said this is VidCon 2020 and posted a picture of us. Like, this is so crazy.
This is life 2020, hanging out with friends, right?
Wow.
It's so weird. I mean, how many VidCons have we been to together? Oh, let me just start because for everybody that knows, these are all my friends. We're doing this all the panel together, but I'm going to be kind of like, I wouldn't say a moderator, but like if there's questions coming in, like I'll read them for us. But I would love to introduce my amazing friends that I'm so proud of. I love so much, and I think they're so wildly talented, and they look so beautiful today. And also I have some funny stories for you guys both.
Oh.
But Lindsay Sterling, if nobody knows who she is, I mean, I don't know where you've been living. I remember when my mom first saw you on Dancing with the Stars, and she was like, have you seen this adorable girl on Dancing with the Stars? She plays the violin and she dances, and she's like, you need to see her. And I was like, Mom, that's my friend Lindsay. I know her. And my mom was like fangirling and freaking out that she knew you. But
that's so sweet.
You are so amazing. I mean, not only do you do all your choreography, you play the violin like nobody I've ever seen, you dance around, you design and create everything. You're the sweetest person in the world you're just like this fairy princess in the world. And there's no wonder you have millions and millions of subscribers, because you're just, I mean, if nobody follows her and knows who she is, go follow her, buy every album she has. Her Christmas albums are amazing. It's just, she's an enchanting princess that I love. And
you're making me blush, actually. Stop it.
And Justine I have another mom story for Justine, because this was, I don't even know how many years ago. You can probably tell me, Justine, but my mom was like, have you seen the video of this girl and she's dancing in the Apple store?
Oh my gosh.
And she's like, I was laughing so hard. She's like, I love this girl. And she's like, does she do more of these? And I was like, Mom, that's my friend Justine. She's like, you know her? Like, my mom just freaks out.
It's crazy though, but I mean, I feel like we've all been around for so long that we've seen, I mean, I feel like everything, like we've seen it all, which is
everything.
Kind of crazy.
I mean, but you are so amazing. Like, she is not just a tech wizard and genius. She's so beautiful. Like, I think if they were like, could you find a supermodel that's highly intelligent and incredibly smart and knows all about tech and also has really cool style, because I always want to buy whatever shoes you're wearing wherever I see you. I'm like, where'd you get those shoes? Where'd you get those
Or her headphones. I want your headphones.
You know, it's funny because we were talking earlier.
Want your backing lighting.
It's my gaming setup. I can give you guys some tutorials. Here's a little cheat. So this is just like a tube light back here. It's actually sitting on
what light? A tube light?
Yeah.
Yes. Those I need to get some of those.
Is it
They're
one
kind
of
of
those that changes colors?
Oh yeah, we can make this any color back here.
What?
It's incredible. Yes.
Is that just a white paper and then you made it pink?
No, this is just like actually the wall's gray. And then it's great because like the white is sometimes too bright. So the nice gray wall with like the pink.
It gives you like a
it's
nice
great.
little gradient.
It's cool.
I feel like those lights are kind of one of the great new hacks of being a creator. We have used those on so many sets and created looks very cheaply that look so expensive. Just by because you don't need a generator to light them. We could light like the forest at night with those random asteras, just like hiding them behind a branch or covering them with some leaves, and it suddenly looked like the forest was
magical.
I don't know.
I feel like I need like 3 of them right now.
I could use an astera as well. But yeah, they're a good hack for
so good.
Expensive setup.
I feel like everybody that's been doing YouTube a long time should do like a story of like what they used when they first started, like their best lighting hacks and tricks now. Cause like, what did you guys use when you first started like your first YouTube videos? Did you guys even have lighting? Was it just in front of like a well-lit window or?
Window was always key. And you could only shoot for like a very short amount of time because then the sun would move. But like I just used like lights from IKEA. I had a green screen blanket that I got from IKEA. Like IKEA was our friend. I mean, it still is actually. I mean, it's funny because everybody thinks that we have all this high-tech stuff, and most of the time it's like we're using whatever we have around the house just to get it done. And it's like a lot of times you don't have budgets for stuff. So it's like we figure it out.
Right. And it comes out looking cooler somehow anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys at all feel like because of COVID, you've had to kind of resort back to the mindset of the YouTuber that started this journey? It's like we all kind of were able to like use more resources and do bigger and bigger things. And then I feel like because of COVID, I'm back to like finding window light, like this moment right now. Like, I'm like, where's the window? I don't have any of my stuff. My little laptop is like propped on my violin case. It's like, anyways, I feel like I'm resorting back to that like OG mindset of like, okay, how can I make this work with nothing?
Well, I think we all lucked out because we did have that mindset. Whereas like a lot of the celebrities, traditional celebrities are trying to figure this out. They're like, how do I do this? I mean, I self-tape, so maybe I can kind of apply some of those things. So it's just really been interesting to see people kind of navigate this whole world. And I think the crazy part was having this tech background. I mean, I was putting that to use to sort of offer that to like other people that I could tell.
You had a jump start above all of us.
All of us, for sure.
Like, I remember when I started YouTube, I was like, I didn't even know how I got the footage on my video camera onto my computer. I was like, what do I do with it now? I've never put anything on my computer. How do I do this?
Well, and so Kandee, I know, are you still editing almost all of your stuff as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then Lindsay, you still edit as well?
I do.
Like, it's amazing. I mean, thankfully now I have an editor, but we like split the tasks. So it's like, I still edit half my videos. He also helps edit. And then I end up taking the final edit, but we do produce so much content, but it's like the editing process is so fun. It's like my favorite part about it.
It's hard to give it up because one, I feel like we all have our creative vision, but also it's one of my favorite parts of the creative process is it's like the reward. You get to see all of it come together and it's like you get to retell the story in whatever way you want anyways. So I have such a hard time. I'll never give that up. I don't think.
It's the storytelling part. It's like if you were baking a cake, it's like filming the video is like the shopping and putting the groceries away. But then when you actually get to mix it and you're putting it in oven in your cute little tin, and that's like the baking part. And I feel like the editing is like the baking part. And you're like, well, I like, that's the good part, like making it and shaping it and putting funny parts and cutting out, just doing little things to jazz it up. And I think like for us, like OG YouTubers, it's so hard because that's what we did for so long, where other people may start now and they never edit a video in their life. And you're like, oh, but that's when it is artisanal video.
It totally makes sense. And I bet a lot of people watching this, which is also weird because usually when I'm doing live streams, like I can see a chat, I can kind of interact. So this is so crazy because it's like, it's basically us hanging out and people are watching.
Me. Okay, now we're good job.
But this is
as far as the editing thing conversation goes, I actually highly recommend for people to learn to edit themselves. I feel like I learned so much about being a performer because I got to watch myself over and over again and be like, that doesn't look good when I do that. Oh, that's not a dance move that I should do again. Oh, that I need to practice more. Or even just like when I would start to edit my vlogs, I'd be like, oh, wow, I hear how I speak. I need to work on being more eloquent. Like really, it can at the beginning be like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do this. But it does teach you so much about yourself. And I think you know yourself better than anyone. So you know how you want to be perceived, where some random editor can't know that about you. So even if you want to give it away eventually, I think it's such an important thing to do, especially in the beginning, to learn and assess your craft. Like Kobe Bryant watched all his game footage takes after every game. And it's almost like our way of like when I edit my music videos, it's like I'm watching my game footage and I'm able to be like, okay, I can get better at this. I don't know. I just think it's a really important skill to have and to appreciate, but also to like hone your craft.
Yeah. And to be able to, and if you do have an editor, to be able to convey your message. I mean, sometimes I'm not able to say what like that edit is that I want. So I'm like, okay, just send it over to me and then I can do it and then I'll show you. So it makes more sense. And I think trying to figure out the remote way of working was really, it's, I guess, what we've all sort of done. But for anybody that's out there looking for sort of a remote editing solution, we started using this thing called PostLab. And you basically can upload your libraries there and other people can download them. So even me and my sister, when working on projects, because we just started a podcast in quarantine because why not? But for that,
started a podcast?
Yes. Yeah. So that's it's been really fun.
Okay, not to interrupt you and change the story. We're going to go back to it. But what's it called?
It's called Same Brain because we basically have the same brain. So it's
I love that.
We haven't really figured out guests yet, but I'll definitely be hitting you guys up. So you'll have to come hang out. It'll be fun.
Wait, was your trip part of the podcast?
No, we just ended up we were there for so long, we ended up having to do 2 of those there.
Oh my gosh, well,
but
we have to come back to that too.
Okay, yeah.
About your trip.
There's so much to talk about, you guys. I haven't talked to you guys.
Oh my God, I know. This is like a live FaceTime that everybody's witnessing right now.
Look, what you been eating? What have you been watching? How was your trip? I loved it. You looked amazing.
Oh, so great. I mean, I guess maybe before we start talking some more, should we just, I don't know, like, how are you guys handling all of this? Because I think for me, it's definitely been a struggle. And I think a lot of people watching, they see us posting like happy, excited things, and they think everything's like, oh, it's Instagram happy. So I just want to say, like, it's definitely been tough. Everybody has been, like, we're all going through the same thing. And I think it's kind of like a really crazy time to say that, like, the whole world is going through something, because that's never happened before.
Yeah.
I think it's been really hard for everybody, you know, and I think, I don't know who is going to say like, oh, this has been so great. It's so hard. I don't know. Something about it was so stressful, the unknown. I mean, I was like obsessed with finding out every news in detail when we didn't know anything, because it was so bizarre. Like, I remember when I saw the first person wearing a mask in the grocery store, and I was like, whoa, they're going overboard. And then next thing, everybody's wearing masks, and then you don't want to be the one without the mask. It's just so crazy to see our whole life turn so interesting, that now just seeing masks everywhere, and people, it's just normal.
Right.
I gained, I think, like 15 or 20 pounds. I was just eating cookie dough and sitting on my couch.
I know.
By the way, I've been seeing your baking. I didn't know you were such a baker. And then I loved your baking analogy. I was like, oh, she is a baker. But
that's amazing.
Terrible. Do you know I ate the whole thing myself, you guys. One day I ate it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I ate no food other than that chocolate cake, not one other thing. And I was like, Kandee, you need to stop. You ate cake all day. Are you like a 2-year-old?
I had chocolate chips for dinner because I didn't have any candy, so I only had baking goods.
Yeah, well, what? I don't know. I think this is a time, because I feel like we're all going through a lot of like highs and a lot of lows.
Yeah.
And I know personally, my anxiety has been quite a bit up in the last few months. And I think that this is like a mental health battleground for everyone, where we're having to face a lot of emotions because suddenly our regular stride is ripped away from us. And if anything, it's kind of interesting because like we're in these cycles all the time, but like by the time you're 30, almost all of your choices are automatic responses based on the choices you've made in your life. And so when everything stopped, suddenly we had to like think, we had to make choices, we had to like actually cognitively be like, this is not my normal life, how do I feel about it? Anyways, but I just think that this is a time to be patient with ourselves. And if like, I have to sometimes stop and be like, you know what, if I need to eat cookies today, that's okay. Because that's where I'm at today, is all I'm going to eat are cookies. Or if, you know, it's like finding a balance and a groove of like not letting myself go, you know, emotionally or physically, but also like giving myself like a pat on the back and being like, if today's like a really hard day, that's okay. And if I am having a hard time seeing silver linings today, that's okay too. Like, we're going to try harder tomorrow to like look for the silver linings. And I don't know, it's been, I think, just a chance for us all to understand our mental health and where we're at actually a little bit better.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And I think giving us sort of that opportunity too, to do things like that you never had time for, like to slow down. For me, I was like, oh, what am I going to do with all this time? So then, you know, obviously started playing video games again. And, you know, it's just like kind of enjoying those things that like we really never had time to do before. So, I mean, it's definitely trying to make the best of the situation, but
do you guys feel like there were certain things, like, I feel like I have enjoyed in an odd way some things about this quarantine. Do you guys feel like what has been something for you guys where you were like, you know what, I actually like this break or time or something? Is there something that you guys feel like that about?
I mean, I think just having that extra, just, I guess, free time. Like, I think also reevaluating a lot of things that we were doing before that just we did not need to be doing. Right. Like a lot of meetings in Los Angeles.
Yes.
We could have just done a phone call or a Zoom call. So I think a lot of that, I hope, does sort of carry over because there's so much wasted time.
Like Zooms are going to save so much traffic time.
For sure.
Everything.
Maybe LA won't be overrun by cars when this is all done.
True.
We all have less meetings. I will say, so when the pandemic like initially started and the US shut its borders, I was on a plane to South America to start my South American tour.
Gosh,
that's right.
And it was the weirdest thing. I get a text in the middle of the flight and it's like, as soon as you land, get your bags, turn around. We have a flight for you home. And my whole crew, we were just like in a daze of like, I was supposed to be starting a year-long
tour.
And all that adrenaline, all that prep, we'd been prepping for months. And it was just like, I found myself at home being like, just crushed. Like, what do I do with my year? My entire year just got canceled. And I was devastated. And so I made the choice to go be with my sister in Missouri. And I flew out and I was with her and her family and my family. You know, I will forever be grateful for that time. I spent 4 months there. Wow. And I got to know my nieces at a level I'd never known them before. And it just made me realize it was hard for me. I'm not going to lie. And I went through a lot of those emotional ups and downs and worry. But the silver linings, the more I looked for them, the stronger they became. And it just was like, I will forever cherish this time of quarantine. You know, and there's still unknowns, but as long as I focus on that, I can make it through those like unsure, scared moments. I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, because I'm like, It's okay. There's so many silver linings. And that's been a really good blessing for me to like search for them and then realize they're actually pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, to get that time to spend with your family, like that's just unheard of, especially
like you and your sister too.
Yeah. We're always hanging out and the dog, he's so happy. Oh my God. He's like, you guys, this is what I've dreamed of.
What about your guys's, you know, workflow? How have you adjusted? Because I feel like we've all had to be like, well, this isn't going to work anymore, so I'm going to pivot over here. And how has that experience been? Have you felt like the things you pivoted to were well received? What, like, did you feel like you were just throwing paint at the wall and nothing was sticking? Like, what was your experience with that?
Yeah, I mean, mine's still tech, and it's actually overwhelming because the amount of tech that has come out in quarantine, it's really? Almost, yes, it's been so overwhelming. I mean, I have like a backlog of stuff that I'm just like, I physically cannot get to making all of these videos. So it's a good problem.
There's been an influx of it? Like, do you think they've come out with more?
I think so. I mean, I kind of thought maybe it would have not, but it's like the tech that we need, you know, like a lot of the stuff is what is keeping us together. So that's like the one, I feel like, area that is really thriving. And the fact that there was like a webcam shortage, and I had so many webcams that I was like passing them out to people because, you know, at some point that was always like a to-go gift or something. And
I'm actually like 10 webcams, I believe.
The webcam that I'm using, I think, is from last year's VidCon, which thank God, because this was a 4K Logitech webcam that we got in like the gift bag. And I had given away all the lower end models. And I was like, yes, thank you, VidCon. So thank you guys. But it's just crazy the things that you couldn't get anymore. I mean, I had gone so long without getting a haircut. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to paint my nails again at this point.
Look at my nails. I got them done. And then the second they did like the stay home order again for salons, these two fell off.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's just like, I think those things that you just kind of like, I don't care anymore. I'm like, I don't ever want to wear jeans again. So I'm just going to
right? I never want to style the back of my hair again either.
You don't have to.
So good. Like, you did such a good job. I'm like, look at how cute Lindsay's hair is.
Hers is, it always looks cute.
Guys,
it's great.
Guys, second hack for you that Lindsay lives by. Wear a hat. That's my favorite thing. I love wearing a hat. All you do is
every bad day.
So great.
Every day is a good day with a hat.
Hats were like my go-to, especially when VidCon, like real VidCon you could go to, because, you know, you didn't have much time. Like in the morning, sometimes you get up and you'd have like early panels or early meet and greets. And I was like, I don't have time to get up and spend a bunch of time on my hair. I'll put a hat on. But then what I would realize is hats are the worst for meet and greets, because as you hug people, your hat falls falling off. And you're like, oh, no, you didn't drop it. Oh, it's
Yeah, you have to like lean awkwardly to the side when you go in for the hat hug. Or like events where you're going to be seeing a lot of people. Hats are bad for those too.
Totally.
How do you guys think this is all going to affect like future meetups? I mean, especially for you, Lindsay. I mean, you're doing so many tours and stuff like that. I mean, what do we think is the future of events? Because like now, I mean, I'm scared. Like I'm a little afraid to do like in-person kind of meetups. Like what do you guys think? Because I really don't know.
I know, because I mean, I think you guys are the same. I know you guys are the same actually, where you want to hug the people. Yeah. You want to like connect. And even with friends, I've noticed when you see like a really close friend right now and you just have to like wave at them, it's so like, it's really hard not to be able to break that barrier, even with people that you know super well. It still feels like I can't connect with you. And so I'm not sure. I am excited about the fact that like, I mean, the touring industry is like devastated right now, but they're working on this new technology, like you were saying, Justine, of like trying to do like actually really cool live streamed concerts, not just like me sitting on my couch at home and playing and, you know, virtual meet and greets. And it's definitely not going to be the same, but, you know, I think it will open up avenues that we can at least start to try to navigate it. Cause I don't know. And I know, I mean, don't you miss like connecting with your fans? It's hard.
Have you been out anywhere since quarantine and a fan has recognized you with your masks on?
Yes. No. Oh my gosh. We were in the middle of Utah filming and there was nobody else around. And then like I had my mask, I had just set it down because we were trying to get like a shot and it blew away. And then, and like, it was so windy. And then he's like, hey, Justine. He's like, can I get a picture? I'm like, oh my God. I was like, where's my mask? I was like panicking. I'm like, I look like I'm an anti-masker now. And I'm freaking out. I go, Jenna, where'd my mask go? She's like, it's over there. It's in the dirt. So
isn't that funny how like, if you like forget your mask for a moment, you want to just be like, I'm not an anti-masker. Like I'm just like there.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy. I mean, cause I am very, very careful because it's, you really don't know. And especially
like most of the time you remember, but yesterday I ran into the grocery store and I got like almost to like, not the entrance, but like I'd taken several steps away from my car and I was like, oh my gosh, my mask. And like, I ran back to the car. I'm like, oh, my little brain's trying to remember. I was like thinking about so many other things.
Well, it's like I can barely remember my cell phone and my keys. So adding a mask to it, I was like, oh shoot, I'm going to be a disaster for the next few months till it becomes, you know, muscle memory. But actually there's some questions. Do we want to answer some of these?
Yes.
The top
Somebody's asking you, Lindsay, they said you're working on a meditation album. I didn't even know that. And do you plan to share any of the songs in the near future? And did you want to come up with this meditation album because of quarantine, or were you already working on this?
Yes. So kind of actually like Justine said earlier, how it's because we've had this like change of pace and like all of our plans for the most part got canceled. Yeah. I had this like mental drawer of ideas off to the side. And so I opened up my like little drawer of like ideas that I've just never had time to do.
Yeah.
And so some of them, to be honest, I think I was just a little bit intimidated to do because it was some of these ideas were outside my normal. And I'm like, ooh, that's a little scary to sometimes step out of what you do. And so I've just been shoving these ideas in this drawer, and this time has given me a chance to be like, all right, time to face some of our fears and do some of those harder ideas and just some of the ones I haven't had time for. And one of which is the meditation album. And I just started it and I'm not sure when it'll be done, but I thought that was perfect for this time. Cause like I said, I've had a little extra anxiety and I really enjoyed like some Zen music. So
I love
that's really cool.
I cannot wait to hear it. It's going to be so good.
What a great
idea.
Send
you guys all one.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I always love all your swag. I still wear the Christmas album pants, like almost like every night. Oh yeah, the blanket too.
Blanket right here. It's on my couch right now.
Oh,
so great.
I love it. Well, it makes me so happy that you guys like the swag.
Oh my gosh, it's great. So great.
Here's one of the top voted questions. It says, what has been the biggest accomplishments of your channels? And this is to everyone. Does anyone have a thought on that?
I mean, we're still doing it. That's an accomplishment, to be honest with you.
You know what? Actually, Justine, since you said that, like, what do you think is the reason? I was thinking about this before this panel, that we've all been here for so long on YouTube. And somehow I still sometimes think, how am I still doing this? And how, like, a lot of channels have risen and fallen. What do you think is the key to keeping our, like, channels relevant and staying relevant? Because I was like, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, because I still really enjoy it, and I feel like it's the one piece of everything that I have that is completely myself. Like nobody else touches my channel. Like no networks, no managers, no agents. Like it is, I mean, they obviously play a huge part in like brand deals and things like that, but like my channel is my decision.
All yours.
It's all mine. And it's just like, that has been very difficult, I think, for a lot of like smaller channels, because you immediately want to sign your channel over to something. You want to immediately take all of those brand deals, but it's like just being true to yourself and kind of knowing that this is an extension of you is just so important. So I think just knowing that it's mine, I think is really important.
Yeah, it's so true though, what you were saying about like, I can tell you love it still. Like when you talk about tech, even when we're like hanging out, you get so excited. Like it truly is your passion. and it shows through. And I think that's probably something that's really true for like all of us. Cause like Kandee, you're the same. When I went to your OGX release party, this wasn't just a random brand deal. Like this was your baby. It was your product. And you could just tell that you were so excited and proud of it. Like that's what I think is the key. But what are your thoughts, Kandee?
I think probably the biggest accomplishment of my channel. I mean, I was excited when, you know, you're very excited when your videos reach so many millions of views and you're just like, oh my gosh, you can't even like picture that many human beings. I mean, and my videos don't even have near the views that you guys have, but I think like when my first one hit like 30 million views, I was like losing my mind. Like I could not imagine 30 million, like I couldn't. It's still hard for me to imagine. Not that maybe not even 30 million. Maybe it's 10 people watched it 3 times. I don't know, but still it's such a lot of people for me. And just to know like the effect that you have around the world, like when you hear stories from around the world of people saying, you know, you helped me through a hard time, or you gave me inspiration to keep living, and there are people so far away or so close that you never knew, that you had no idea when you publish on this little video in YouTube that it would go out and touch somebody's life, because at the end of the day, your views mean nothing. You know, like other people have gotten tons and millions and hundreds of views and then they fade away, or, you know, it's not just about like your views or followers. It's like, I really feel like the difference that you make in people's life is probably what I feel is the greatest accomplishment of my channel.
Yeah. It's really cool.
I remember a video you shared recently where you were sharing the sweetest story about an interaction that you had by seeing a comment online, and just how emotional you got about telling that story. I was like, that is why I love Kandee so much. By the way, you bragged about us, so I'm going to take a chance to brag about you. Kandee literally is one of the kindest people I've ever met. Like, she'll randomly text me and say, like, almost what you said when you introduced me. Hello, magical fairy princess. I hope you're spreading pixie dust today, and your smile makes me happy. And automatically I'm like, well, now I feel like a pixie, and now I'm going to spread pixie dust. Like, Kandee just is a, like, through and through one of the best people, and the person you see online is the person she is to her friends and everyone. But so anyways, I can see why you would record that.
When I'm having a bad day, I'll just be like,
replay.
Well, I'm going to send you a voice note like you sent me. Okay. And then, yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm just so glad we were all able to do this. Like it's just such a crazy time, and I mean, especially for the audience, like this is like their VidCon. This is like what people look forward to for so long, and like, just to have.
I feel like that's one of the things I loved about VidCon the most is, I mean, I love the energy, and I would leave from meet and greets to panels to talking to people, and it would remind you why you're making YouTube, because so many people be like, I watched your videos because of this and this and that, and it helped me through this, and it taught me this, and I would leave invigorated, like, this is what I need to do. This is what people love, what I'm making to make them happy. And then, you know, getting to see all your YouTube friends that you never see because everybody's so busy and doing so many different things. So I think that part of VidCon feels so amazing. And that part, getting the feedback from people, reminds you, like, this is why I do this, you know, otherwise I'd be like, what a waste. I don't want to waste my time so I can have a bunch of haters tell me how weird I look or how ugly I am or how my voice is annoying.
Oh my gosh.
It's so true.
Oh, like what you were just saying, it's really hard sometimes. And I think I saw a question about this, like, how do you not get bogged down by comments or negativity online or disappointment? I think that was what the question was. And like you're saying, it's all about remembering like those moments that you have in those interactions that remind you that this isn't always about numbers. Like, so often I know I can get sucked into the numbers and as if they mean everything, but then you have a genuine reaction or interaction with a person, and it reminds you that this is not about the masses. Like, what makes you feel fulfilled is when you see the reaction from the one. And you know, I had a experience in quarantine recently where I had put so much into this music video and I was so excited for it, and I released it and it just performed terribly as far as the numbers.
The one I'm in, Lindsay? Did I ruin it?
No, it was not. No, it was another one. And I just remember being so disappointed at first and just like starting to feel so bogged down, and it was all numbers that were making me feel this way. And then I just somehow on my feed, there was a reaction video that was posted to my video, and I clicked on it, and I watched this man from Kenya react to my video, and the joy that was on his face. And the interesting thing was his video had 7 views. And it was like this cyclical thing where his reaction to my video made me realize it's about the one. And he only had 7 views, but one of them was me. And it made my day. So even if, the one was making my day and he made I don't know. It was just cool to see that, like, it's all about the one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a really special moment for me to remember that, like, we shouldn't let, and it would be so hard to be a teenager today. Like, it was hard enough just realizing that I wasn't the most popular girl in my school, but let alone having to, like, see followers and this and that and likes and
comments.
I mean, I feel like that's like our parents would say the same thing about, like, sort of our generation as well. They're like, oh, I can't imagine that. So I feel like it's just that trickle down effect where they're growing up like this.
Like to not have
exactly. This. Yeah. So it's sort of like you grow up in that world and it just is what it is. But I had a very similar kind of reaction, Lindsay, to that, because you never really realize, I guess, that impact that you have. So for me growing up, I was a huge R.L. Stine fan, like absolutely, like goosebumps, like loved the books. And when I went to my book tour at, like, the book event, this little girl, she came up, she like was hugging my leg and she was crying her eyes out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, honey, like, it's okay. And then I look over and freaking R.L. Stine is signing books next to me. I start crying. I'm like bawling my eyes out. And then, like, his social media person saw me. I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, it's okay. We'll get you a picture. And then I'm crying, this little girl. I'm like, oh my God, like, what's happening? So I just had to, like, stop and, like, remember why I was here. Yeah. So it's you kind of forget, like, what that feeling is like. So it was like kind of having that experience. I was like, okay, I get it. And it's just, I don't know. And I'm just glad that, like, a lot of people have role models like us to sort of, I don't know, because there's so much out there that I feel like if I had kids, I wouldn't want them watching.
No, I'd be
but I would be like,
don't let that person be a role model or anyone you watch anywhere.
I was like, please watch Kandee and Lindsay. Please.
I know. I'd be proud if I had kids and they were watching your channels.
For sure. So it's just, I think, like, there's so much content out there. And I just, it's like finding the good stuff, I think, is difficult nowadays, especially.
And I think, especially because we started before, I think there's so much you've learned. And there's so much that you take on and you're responsible for. Like, I feel like I want to be responsible for being a role model, and so it just makes me very conscientious about everything to make sure, is this something that a 5-year-old could see, or, just making sure everything is, safe or just easy, nice. Anybody could watch it. And I feel honored if anybody's going to come up and a mom will say, oh, you're a role model, or my 5-year-old loves you. And then I'm like, oh, I'm doing everything that is what my heart wants to do,
It's so great.
And I think that
the first time when you were dealing with, because it wasn't a big thing, like back when you started getting hate at first, because there wasn't a platform like, oh, everybody gets hate, everybody gets haters. You didn't really know about that. Do you guys remember dealing with that? And was there something you think could be helpful to share with people now that maybe they just have friends or mean people saying stuff online that you learned, because we've been dealing with hate comments for so many years now?
It never really gets easier. I mean, it does, but it also doesn't.
I agree with that, Justine.
Yeah, it sucks, especially because at the beginning I was like, why does everybody hate me? Like, I didn't even do anything. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. And, like, it just sucks because even now it's like people will pick you apart for something that you're so, like, self-conscious about. And then it's like, now that's all I'm thinking about.
Yes.
But I think what has helped sort of me right now, I think, is I started doing more live streaming, and it's been really great because it's like I'm connecting with the audience, like one-on-one, getting to actually have conversations. So, I think a lot of times as you sort of build that audience, there's other people that will stand up for you and you don't even have to do anything. So I think that's been super helpful just to see the positivity.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I think that there's, like, a plethora on both sides, and there's probably going to be way more positive than there is negative. And I agree with Justine that negative comments are always going to hurt me. I'm pretty sensitive, like something I'm not proud of, but I have a little, artist heart, and it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
So I've had to remind myself that I have a choice where I'm going to focus. And so as I see a negative comment, am I going to is that the one I'm going to comment back to? Even though that's the one usually you're like, I want to comment back. But then I'm putting my energy into like thinking about this, commenting, actively putting energy into this negativity and feeding it myself. And in life in general, like negativity and positivity exists in our lives every single day. And it's our choice to decide what reality we live in. And it's the same with online comments. Like, I have to remind myself, I have a choice where I'm going to look. I saw the bad comment. Am I going to stay here? Am I going to scroll down? And am I going to find a thing like Justine did where I know I can find positivity? And that is a choice that we have.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I sometimes don't comment back because I just got to get a little sassy every once in a while. I'm like, why am I doing this? And then you sort of, I'll like get one comment and like, okay, no, that's it. Like that was my one a month. That's it. We're done.
Yes. One a month.
Or I'll like screenshot it or like send it to my sister and then tell her what I have to say and not say it publicly instead.
Oh, that's fun. I like that. Then you guys can just like, you can secretly troll the troll.
Yes, we can chat it out.
Sister, hate comments. Like, okay, now I feel better. Processed it.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't get easier. And I think one of the things also that I realized is if I'm getting too many positive comments, that means I might not be reaching outside of my bubble of people. So it's like, I'm like, man, everybody's being so nice. I need to
remember back when YouTube had the homepage and you go there and it would literally be like, how to, style, all those things. And like, that was your goal, right? Your goal was to make it on the homepage because then your video would blow up. Every time I would go to a YouTube video and I would see hate comments in there like, you're so ugly, you should kill yourself. The sound of your voice makes me want to rip my ears out. It would be like, I'd be like, I made it on the homepage. On the homepage.
It's crazy that that's like what the comments are. But now, I mean, it's great because you can moderate a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't want any of that negativity in my channel. No. So I have like every possible blocked word because it's like, that just feels more hate. It's like, this is a positive place. I don't want kids to come onto here and then see things maybe they shouldn't be seeing. So it's like, that's a choice. It's our sort of community.
And you feel like you have to take care of the environment that you create because even if somebody loves you so much and then they come to your page and they see a hater and they're going to fiercely protect or defend you, and that person's going to start attacking them. So a lot of times I'll just remove it because I don't know if it's a 12-year-old that's defending me or it's a 50-year-old. I just don't want that on there. And then I know anybody that's going to come on the internet and write something terrible about another person they're not coming from a happy place. They're probably miserable. They're or hurt or sad or have bad things going. Happy people don't go around leaving hate comments.
No.
You know? Right? Have you ever left a hate comment? Have you guys ever disliked a video? I don't think I ever have.
I mean, there's no point. If I don't like something, I just move on.
I click away. Like, I honestly wish
I don't like somebody. I won't waste any part of my life watching what they're doing, let alone typing about how I don't like them. I just don't look at it. You know,
it's not going to do anything.
Go somewhere else. So funny. I'm like, what kind of person leaves a hate comment? And that kind of makes you automatically devalue what they've said because you're like, who does that?
Like no one in real life has ever come up to me and been like, you're so ugly, you should kill yourself. Like no one's ever done that. But have I gotten it on the internet? Oh, hundreds of times. My face has been picked apart where I would look in the mirror and be like, oh my gosh. Even things I wouldn't even before what they would say, I'd be like, you're right. I have the ugliest whatever I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's just so weird how it gets in your head.
Which, the fact that you say that, because everyone watching this looks at you and thinks to themselves, she is so beautiful. That's what I think. Whenever one of your pictures pops up on my feed, I'm like, Kandee is so beautiful inside and out. And so I just think it's so interesting how we all look in the mirror sometimes or look inward and I'm like, I'm not funny or I'm not pretty enough. You know, like we all have those feelings. And it's like, I guess it kind of gives me validation that it's not real. Because if Kandee Johnson looks in the mirror and thinks to herself, oh, my face is so ugly, then it's like, well, that's not real. So the ones that I'm thinking, like we all do it. So that kind of invalidates all of the like haters comments, but also the hate and the self criticism that sometimes circulates through every single one of you watching. It's not valid. It's not real. Like I said, because if Kandee Johnson thinks that about her face, then it's not real.
I'm just really good at the makeup, you guys. I just to really make my face. Look,
I've
you
seen
are,
no
but
makeup videos and photos. That's not true. I mean, I think that, Lindsay, what you're saying is like that is a really good point, because it's like we just spend so much more time just like analyzing everything and finding things to hate than try to find things that you do like. So it's like
complaining. I feel like everybody is so ready to complain and find something wrong and point out what's wrong. And like I feel like the more miserable and unhappy you get, the more you're ready to, not that it brings you pleasure, but something about it like makes you feel like, well, my life isn't so bad because this is awful and that's awful and this is awful. And there's certain, like I had to start even thinking about the quarantine. I was like, I actually kind of like that I don't really have FOMO. Like I am not afraid that somebody is doing or going to a fun party and I wasn't invited. They're doing something cool, going on a trip, and I'm just stuck at home. Nobody's going anywhere. So I feel like it's like leveled the playing field. So part of me is like, I know that every celebrity, every person that could be so fancy and doing all these fun things I see on Instagram, be like, why aren't I in Greece and the Maldives? And why aren't I at this party? Or why aren't I at Disneyland? It's just like, well, no one's going anywhere. So you're all at home in your sweat, probably eating cake for dinner.
But the thing that I did notice, so, oh my God, chocolate chips last night, white chocolate chips, by the way. I was going to make a cake, but then I've just been eating all the ingredients. So I don't think I can't make the cake at this point. But one thing I did notice is, so my friends and I, we drove to Utah. So we did a road trip because a new camera came out, and I was like, we cannot make a video in the house. Like this has to be a really good video. So the difference though, between like state to state, like different regulations, like in Utah, everyone was still wearing masks. Everyone was still abiding by like social distancing rules. But it was like something about being in Los Angeles, like people are angry and just so miserable about it. And like in Utah, everyone was just like, we're wearing our masks. We're doing our thing. And like here, it's so different. It's like, we're mad about it. It's like, just I don't know. It's like we live
anger right now. I feel like there's so much, and maybe just causes to be angry, but I feel like there's people that are just mad in general. And I think it's like everybody's state of feeling stressed and anxiety and not knowing certainty. And I feel like I've had to, or even seeing friends' stories, like you just feel like almost like this bitterness take over, and it makes me sad because I know everybody's dealing with a lot. And I'm like, I may not be doing everything. Like I see videos, I'm not organizing my house beyond perfection, and I'm not being like the most productive like I see some people. And then that made me feel bad at the beginning of quarantine. I'm like, well, I'm not baking and working out and tie-dyeing everything I own, and I'm not making 1,000 funny TikToks. And I was just feeling like I couldn't do enough, and I think when I just sat back and I was like, you know what, this is time for me to rest, recharge. I'm sleeping. I've never slept like regular hours before, like I have for this long in over a decade before YouTube. And then just seeing like I could take care of me. And like you said too, Justine, like realizing what's important and what's not, and be like, you know what, this is so dumb. Like even looking at Instagram, like really, this is what people were liking before. Like it doesn't even matter, just, I like that part of the quarantine. I liked when there was a comfort when I was like, everybody's just at their house making their little dinner, or, no one's out doing anything exciting and I'm missing out.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like, what's it going to be like after? I don't know. I mean,
right?
it just feels like at this point, it's like survival. So it's like every day you survive. It's like, yes. Okay. Check. Let's keep going.
I need a cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh gosh. Hey, you know what? I will not judge at all, because definitely have been there.
You should do like a tech and baking video or something.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Justine's got some baking videos.
Dude, there's this, okay, I just said dude because I'm so excited. There's this oven. It's like an infrared oven that I've been using. And like, I've never cooked before. It's called Brava. And it's insane. Like it cooks with light. It cooks super quick. It's really, really fast. Yes.
Can you bake in it?
Yeah, I mean, I've made cakes. I've made like oatmeal. I've made like
is it like a standalone one, like a little microwave size?
Yeah, it's like it's just like a kitchen top. It's incredible. I mean, we all know that I can't cook, but this thing is amazing. They have the recipes. There's an app. There's a camera inside. You can look at it on your phone and watch it cook.
Is this the kind of stuff they sell for tech gadgets?
I mean, it's so great. Like I got one for my parents. Like my sister.
Did you make a video about this yet?
I did. I'm working on a video number 2 as an update to my quarantine cooking.
I'm gonna have to check this out, because I feel like I have actually started to like cook in quarantine.
What's your guys' favorite new or favorite dish you've learned, or something that you've liked that you cooked that impressed yourself since quarantine?
I mean,
started
it's not that exciting.
These black bean. It sounds gross. Don't knock it till you try it. They're muffins that are made with a base of black beans. They're chocolate muffins. Guys, it's so good. I posted a little baking tutorial on my Instagram.
It sounds like almost like a vitamin muffin I need.
They're kind of like healthy muffins, they're kind of guilt-free, but guys, I think they're really good.
Where did you
have to try it?
Is it on your Instagram?
It's on my Instagram. Just go down a couple stories. I did a really terrible baking tutorial, but you can get the recipe on there. So
that's awesome.
I love it.
What about you guys? Any baking tips?
I mean, I just like make the same basic stuff. It's like, okay, here's some chicken and some rice. Here's a grilled cheese and tomato soup and oatmeal.
Oh, that's my go-to. Grilled cheese.
Oh, so good. I mean, nothing too advanced, really. That's about it. I'm just keeping it simple. I don't like the cleanup.
Oh, I know. That's the worst part. I was like, I like cooking, but I don't like all this cleaning.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I don't have time for
spending an hour doing dishes.
Wait, so guys, we only have, I think, a few minutes left. So one of the questions that I've seen asked is about creativity and like how to thrive in creativity. So I would like to hear, what are y'all's tips for staying creative? Because I mean, you guys, all of us have made so many videos on YouTube. So any creative tips, or what is your creative process?
You go, Justine.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, mine's a little different because it's like usually I'm covering a product. So it's like, how can I cover this phone differently than I covered the last version? Because it's like usually there's small like spec upgrades. So I think for me, before, like I used to love to vlog, but like vlogs, they weren't doing as well on YouTube anymore. So I kind of shifted to how can I make a vlog, but also like kind of integrate it into like a review video. So I think it's just really just kind of, I mean, I feel like the creativity again is in the edit. Let's just shoot a bunch of really cool looking footage and then we get to play in the edit. So
yeah,
I think that, and then just kind of like coming up with fun ideas with like my sister, like what would be fun to do. And I think it's mostly kind of, and it kind of stems back to what would be fun, because if it's not fun to shoot or make, like I'm not going to want to do it and no one's going to want to watch it really.
Right. I love that. And I for me, brainstorming is a huge thing, because for anyone who's an extrovert, I have a really hard time thinking without expressing it. Yeah. And so if I brainstorm with someone else, ideas come out so much faster. And for anyone who's an extrovert, I bet that's a similar thing for you. Another thing I think that's most important in my creative process is, because writing music and thinking of music video ideas, tour ideas, I really sometimes struggle to not judge my ideas, especially in the writing process. Like, and the more you judge your ideas, the more scared they're going to be to come out, because you're not going to be as liberal with your ideas if your head knows that you're probably going to criticize it as soon as it comes out. So it's going to be like, no, I'm going to stay in the brain. I'm not coming out. So I think for me, that's a huge thing of just putting ideas out there, saying them out loud, and like making sure that I'm not going to judge them. They have a safe space, and I give myself permission to create crap. I think that's one of the biggest things. When I'm writing, you guys, I write way more terrible songs than I do good songs, because only a fraction of what I write ever gets heard by you guys. Yeah. Most of them just get put away into a little bin where they'll never be heard by anybody. And it's because I give myself permission to create crap. And that's how the good stuff gets out.
Do you ever kind of go back to the crap and be like, I think there might be something here? Or like let somebody else hear it, or like they might have like another spin on it?
Yes. And my best song, or the song everybody knows me for, is a song that got put in the trash. And I went back to it, which was Crystallized. It was the one I did in that ice castle.
Yeah.
And that song was put in the trash. And because I was just judging it too hard and I was frustrated with it. And sometimes in creativity, I feel like you're going to run into walls. And if so, it's okay to like shelve a project. But yeah, sometimes go back to your shelved projects, because you never know. That could be like a little diamond that you just hadn't quite uncovered yet. Now it's just sitting over here waiting for you to like give it another chance.
That's really cool.
My most viewed video was one I was never going to upload because I thought it was so terrible. And then I, like around Halloween time, I always do like the costume looks, and I was trying to do a bunch, and I was like, oh no, I need to put one up. And I was in Hawaii on vacation. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'll just put this one up. And normally when you upload a video, you're there for hours, you're commenting back to everybody, you're watching how it's doing, thinking if you need to tweak anything, the title or whatever, thumbnails and all this stuff. And I put it up and I walked away, and I've never have done that. And then I came back and I realized, I was like, I was gone like 2 hours, and the views were like insanely, it was my Barbie video, and it was insane. Like, I still to this day can't stand it, and I didn't upload it because like the bottom lashes are not perfect. They're like crooked and wiggly, and I was like, I'm going to refilm it and I'm going to do the eyelashes better. And then I was like, at first I was excited, and I was like, oh no, it's getting popular and the eyelashes are bad. People are going to hate it.
But then again, that's
exactly.
Oh, sorry, go Justine.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, we're our biggest critics. Like, I'm sure a lot of people didn't even notice it, and they were just kind of looking at the overall picture. Like, this is an incredible video. You're super talented, and like, this is awesome. So,
and I'm over there like, oh no, I'm gonna get all the hate.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'll tell you guys one creative thing, and then I think we'll probably start wrapping it up because we're almost done. For me, for like the creative process is, I have to have time where my brain is empty and it's void of any incoming things. Like it's either when I'm in the shower or I'm on a run, when I've come up with the best ideas, because I don't have my computer in front of me. People aren't texting me. I don't have sound or anything. So I need like the empty brain space so that I can think up things. Like, you can't be thinking up great ideas when you're thinking of 25,000 other things. And then even like, I have to go on little creative excursions, which just random little places I'll go, and things will like inspire me, or I'll go to an antique store or something, and I'll see some cool little gadget or some kind of art from the 60s or something cool, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that'd be so cool to do a video where I do this, or just those little things to get your mind out and put like little seeds of like little just igniters, like ignite a little spark of something. It could be seen anything, an idea, a song, something just pops in out of your head out of nowhere. But I have to like give that room for the ideas to pop up. Otherwise my brain feels like things are popping up everywhere. And I'm like, I don't even know, if an idea popped up, I wouldn't even think about it right now.
It's really funny that you say you get so many ideas in the shower. Like, I do too. Like, sometimes I will just be thinking for the longest time, and I'm like, oh my God, how long have I been in here? Like, my hot water's gone. Like, I'm wasting water. But yeah, I feel like, because you're just doing this mindless task. And I think that's also something that's interesting about the whole quarantine thing is like, that feeling of boredom was so refreshing, because I just felt like I was able to just sit and think about a lot of different things and just get like different ideas. So yeah, but man, the shower thoughts, I know one of my friends, he actually
shower power thoughts.
He has a notepad like in his shower, like a waterproof one, so that he can write things down.
Yeah.
That's
like,
genius.
Google one of those.
Yeah, I was like, man, I need that too, because then I forget actually, I usually bring my phone into the shower anyway, just so I can type it down. It's waterproof. The new iPhone's waterproof. I mean, it's water resistant up to, for a half hour and 30 meters of water, so we're fine.
I love that you know exactly the specs. Exactly. You're like, half hour, 30 meters.
You're good.
I mean, so much. This was so much fun. I hope everybody watching had so much fun. It just felt so fun interacting with you guys and catching up and feeling like I'm talking to real friends.
Oh my God, we should do this again. Like, everybody just hang out. We'll get a bunch of people together. It'd be great.
Absolutely. I miss you guys so much.
I know, I miss you too. We miss the audience. We miss everybody.
I want to have like a big party sometime in the future when we can be together.
Yes.
Like a social distance circle. Did you see those circles that they had like in New York that people were like sitting in? It was like a rooftop or something. Yeah, it was just like people were sitting like 6 feet apart.
Oh my gosh. Imagine if like Lindsay was on one rooftop like playing the violin, and then you were with this beautifully lit some kind of tech projection screen over on your rooftop, and I don't know what I'd be like throwing cake at people.
Oh my gosh. We'll figure something out. It'll be good.
As long as there's cake.
Thank you everybody for watching this. I think we're wrapping up all of our video. If you don't already follow Justine and Lindsay, go follow them. They're some of my favorite Instagrams. Like they're just people that make you feel good, and I love seeing Justine's trip. I love seeing the creativity and things, even the collab stuff that Lindsay's doing. So if you need an extra burst of just good things on your Instagram feed and YouTube and everywhere, just follow them. We hope you guys had fun. I'm not sure how we just like send off some virtual hugs, but thank you so much for joining us, and I loved hanging out with you guys.
You too.
All right.
I guess that's it. I think so. That's it.
But
are we good?
I think so.